All right. All right. Right back at you guys with another sports update. We got Adrian and Reid in the building. Fellas, what's up?
What's happening?
Yo,
Another show, another show. We in the building. So let's go ahead, jump right into it. We got the World Series going on tonight. Texas up 3-1, looking to close out the Arizona Diamondbacks. But one of the biggest stories out of this World Series is that the ratings are down. They're saying this is one of the lowest rated World Series of all time. So Reid, why do you think the ratings are so low for this World Series?
I have it going on right now. Honestly, I think it might. I mean, it's a good because Diamondbacks were the lowest seeded team coming into this World Series, so it is a little. It's not unsurprising because I feel like their fan base isn't too huge, and people maybe aren't interested because it's not a Yankees or a big market team, so or a Dodgers. So I could see it maybe being that, or it's just the fact that baseball is just kind of dead now, and so. And it's probably a combination of both of those things, but I think just a lot of people don't want to watch baseball when there's all these other sports coming on. Like us, like me as a Detroit fan, I'm more interested in the Lions on Sundays and college football on Saturdays and basketball now with the Pistons rookies and younger stars and the hockey team's looking good. So I'm interested in all Detroit sports. I don't really care about baseball unless the Tigers were in the World Series.
So you think it would benefit baseball to shorten the season so that it doesn't blend into the other sports?
Yeah, they should. I think they should be playing like 100, like maybe sub 100 games in baseball. I don't think they need to play 182 or whatever, 162, whatever it is. Because I mean, like you say, if you think about it, their season it starts in the spring, so it's starting when there's still other sports going on. It stretches through the sport into football season. I mean, it's ending in football season, but still, it's midway through the NFL season, and this is still going on. Like people aren't watching. Like only people I know that are watching this is my brother who loves baseball and his friends who gamble on it, and that's probably the only people I know watching it.
Right.
I could say a lot to do with it has to do with that, but I think about these teams. You got Texas and you got Arizona, two of the smaller market teams in the MLB. So think about if you had a Dodgers versus Atlanta Braves World Series. Plus those guys have more familiar names such as Acuna. You got
Bats.
you got Mookie Betts. You got Clayton Kershaw. So I think that's what baseball is big on markets right now. And then if this goes anything, it shows you that there's a lot of parity in baseball too, because all the top teams lost this year, going expected to go to the World Series. The Astros, the Orioles, the Braves, the Phillies. So I just think it's people not being as familiar with these two teams right now because they did not expect these teams to make the playoffs, let alone make the World Series. So I think fans only like, especially casual baseball fans, are not going to watch this World Series because they could care less. There's no star to them in this World Series. For guys like us, we pay attention to it. There's some star power in there, but
Yeah.
I mean, I think it was interesting that the Diamondbacks did make it just because it's like the underdog and if they want to be like a Cinderella story. The Rangers have some talent because Scherzer obviously got traded there later in the year. It stinks that DeGrom's hurt, but they have guys like Seager and they have guys like Garcia. I don't know if he's even playing tonight, but I know he was
out
hurt.
with strained oblique.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, the Rangers definitely have some bats and some good pitchers, but not like what you would expect. Like you said, like a Dodgers or a Yankees or a Orioles. They're not or the Braves. It's like or the Phillies. I mean, the Phillies have Bryce Harper. Like what happened when they were hot? Like when big market teams get hot in like MLB, especially like a crazy fan base like Philadelphia or New York, it brings a lot of like motor behind a baseball team and the ratings. I think.
Yeah. A lot of underdogs upset a lot of the teams that have more wins. You want to root for the underdogs, but in the long run, yes, it's hurt on the ratings. And I think when a West Coast team gets on, it kind of hurts as well. Like if it's the Dodgers or somebody like that, a lot of people would like to watch the Dodgers. But when you get to talking about like the Padres and the Diamondbacks and the Rockies, people that are in those states don't really care. You don't really care about those teams. So all right. So you got the Texas up 3-1 tonight. So Adrian, does Texas get it done? Do they close them out?
They do close them out, and when I believe this will be if they do win, that'll be the first World Series in franchise history.
Yeah, I agree. I think they close them out. I think there's only been a handful of teams, maybe 5 that have come back from 3-1 in baseball. I know 2016 Cubs, 68 Tigers were one of them as well, and then there's a few other teams in there. So I think they'll close it out tonight because they're at home anyway, too, aren't they?
Yep, they are.
They are at home. Okay. So yeah, I think they'll close it out tonight.
Yeah, I'm going with Texas. Going with Texas for the closeout as well. Arizona, it's been a good storyline, but yeah, I think this is the grand finale right here. I'm running with
and
Texas.
real quick, that can tell you that turnaround in baseball can be quick if you do it right. Arizona lost 100+ games 2 years ago, so Tigers have no excuse.
Yeah. We got to see what they do this offseason. What moves are made, so we'll see. All right, well, let's switch over to college football. Obviously, there's some of the biggest news today. Central Michigan is alleging that a man to look like Connor Stallions was on their sideline for the September 1st opener against Michigan State. So, this thing's a big mess right now. So Adrian, where you at with this whole Michigan situation? Do you think they should be allowed to play in the playoff this year if they make?
I mean, the playoff committee has no rules to it. If I've talked about this before, if it comes out to find out that they're cheating, it'll get vacated anyways. So I mean, you guys got to kind of play it out until it happens. But like I said, everything is allegations. But as we look more and more every day, it's just looking worse and worse for this Michigan program. And I don't know. I'm kind of just. Whatever happens. If, like I said, they did it. They deserve whatever comes to them. It's sad, like I've talked about before, but I'm kind of just right now over it. It's just so much information overload that I mean we won't really know a thing until they finish the investigation. But just if they do, no, they should not be allowed to play.
Yeah, again, like you said, it was alleged. I mean, the guy did look like him. Almost kind of, like just like him. The glasses, videoing, and everything. But they were talking about it today on the radio, and I was and I did agree with them where it does suck that for the kids that are playing that if this happened, because they obviously don't have any role in what's going on or what the coaching staff does other than play ball. So I think it more or less needs to be the coaches that should be penalized, not the kids. So maybe they should still be able to go and play for a national championship, whether that's under Jim Harbaugh and the two other, the offensive coordinator and defensive coordinator. I don't know. It's all, like you said, it's allegations at this moment, but it's looking like it's not going great. Like you said, the playoff committee doesn't really have in it. I'm just going to say if it comes down to it, we'll vacate it. But as of right now, it's up to the Big Ten and the NCAA to kind of rule in a punishment. But I don't think the kids should be punished. I definitely think it should be the coaches. And like we talked about last week, I think it'll just end up being kind of like a Pete Carroll USC situation. But if something comes out before the season ends and they have to get rid of them, I still think Michigan should be able to play the rest of the season and play into the college football playoff, just not with the coaches.
Real quick too, like we've heard about this Harbaugh rumor about the contract. A couple days ago, I heard they rescinded it. Then came out yesterday. I was reading something talking about there's a contract about to be signed any minute. So it's like every day it's something new that keeps coming in. We really won't know we probably won't know anything until after the season, to be honest with you guys. And then they talked about the NFL might not even let Harbaugh back in, even if he wants to come. I read something about that, but it's just like you're reading this and that and this and that, and it's just like you don't know what to believe. So it's almost like it gives you a headache. Like I said, it's information overload, and you're just trying to process everything. So I can't be the judge, jury, and executioner until it comes out.
How many more years does Harbaugh have on his current contract?
It's on the last year of his deal.
Oh, this is the last year.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, he's out of there. He's gone. He's gone. He's gone for sure.
Especially with all this coming out now too, it's almost like it almost could seem like he's like, let this come out so I can leave and I don't have to come back because I want to go to the NFL. I don't know. But he obviously didn't do that, but it almost seems like that could be the case. You know?
It's not going to be as bad as if he leaves now. People are going to say, okay, I see why. So yeah.
Either way, he's gonna have an out. So he's trying to set himself up if he does. But I've told you guys before. I think even before this came out, I I thought he was going to leave because this is potentially his best team in program history. Even if they do, let's say they do get it, let's say Arkansas come out and it proves that they did it, and he still wins a national championship on the field, even though it gets vacated. You're not going to be able to tell him anything, So
I will say this: it is also pretty prime that he was rumored to go to the Raiders last year, and then they hired McDaniels. Now he got fired midway through the season, so I don't know. Maybe the rumors are up again.
Yeah, McCarthy and Harbaugh to the Raiders. Who knows?
Maybe they do need a quarterback.
They need everything
except for defense.
Shout out Ack in the building. Said, fellas,
what's up, man?
Yes, sir. So the college football rankings came out. Ohio State is currently the number 1 ranked team. So Reid, how do you feel about Ohio State being ranked number 1? Do they deserve it?
I think they're potentially the most deserving out of the 4 that are up there now, just because of their resume this year. They have two top 25 wins against Notre Dame and Penn State, and they're also undefeated. So I think they're most deserving of it. Obviously, having the resume so far. Georgia, obviously, you can say that just because they're 2-time national champions returning, but they're kind of fallen to the Michigan side of it, where they've only beat, they've had the schedule that they were dealt. They've only beat the teams that they've beat. They have some big games coming up. I know they play Missouri this weekend, so they can potentially prove it. But I think Ohio State should be one with just that. I mean, beat Notre Dame, like I said, and they beat Penn State, who was ranked 6th at the time. So yeah, I mean, I definitely think they deserve to be number 1.
I couldn't agree more. So, me and Reid talked about it yesterday. It's not a bet I'm willing to fight. Fans are losing their mind over these top 4 right now. But to think about it, these teams are going to play each other. Michigan and Ohio State are going to play each other. Georgia is going to have to prove itself. Can Florida State run the ACC? I mean, wait and see. But if you take care of your business, then you'll be where you're supposed to be. Like I said, Georgia has the best resume. I mean, Ohio State has the best resume right now. Michigan can prove itself by beating Penn State and playing Ohio State at home. Georgia's played a weak schedule just like Michigan, but they play a really good Missouri team at home this weekend. So things will start to work itself out. I think Florida State's finding its stride. If you want to say Florida State should move up to 2, I'm not mad about it, but like I said, it will all work itself out. And I got nothing to complain about.
Yeah, for sure. It's definitely going to work itself out when the rest of the season unfolds. All these teams play each other, conference championship games. So for sure. So yeah, let's go ahead and get into our picks for this weekend's game. So Adrian, let me know. You got number 15 Notre Dame at Clemson. Notre Dame is a 3-point favorite in this game. Who do you like?
Give me Notre Dame. Clemson this was the season where they just take a tumble. They're gonna have to regroup, refocus as a program. Dabo's gonna have to make some changes and make some philosophical changes in his program. I don't know if you guys seen that interview he did on the radio, and he was arguing with some Tyler from Spartanburg, South Carolina. Dabo was just saying he hasn't done anything, and he's worked hard for where he's been. That's cool, but hey, you got to adjust to college football now. I think Dabo is having a very hard time doing that right now. He's being stubborn. Nick Saban hasn't done it. Kirby Smart hasn't done it. You got to adapt, and he doesn't want to do that. And until he does that, Clemson will be a middle-of-the-pack ACC team from here on out.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything that he said. Obviously, Florida State played Clemson earlier this season, and everybody thought Clemson was going to be a juggernaut this year. I saw people pre-season rankings putting in the college football playoff, don't let them sneak up on you, all this stuff. Like you said, just Dabo's not willing to evolve. That's always going to catch up to you at the end. That's what happened with D'Antonio at Michigan State earlier. I mean, that's what's kind of happening with Saban at this point. He's not really hitting the transfer portal like he should. He's just kind of relying on recruiting and everything like that. So, yeah, I would take Notre Dame, which I'm sure I don't know if you heard me before. I didn't know that they dropped all the way down to 15. I know that they have, 2 losses, but I know that they're down to 15. I thought they were still higher than that.
Yeah, I agree with you guys saying about Dabo. I 100% agree, but I think Clemson wins this game. I think Notre Dame goes there and takes a loss. I'm running with Clemson in this game. I like Clemson.
Clemson on the upset special.
Yeah, I like Clemson. I mean, Notre Dame's only a 3-point favorite, so it's not like Clemson's just some huge underdog.
Clemson at home's hard, dude. Clemson at home is a hard team to beat.
They are.
Like I said, when Florida State went in there, they were 40-2 going into that match, and you saw how hard it was for them. That crowd gets loud there, but I don't know, something I like about Notre Dame.
Yeah, Notre Dame's they're playing well right now. They definitely gave it to Pittsburgh last week, but I think if they had Clemson at home, they probably would have beat them. But I think the fact that Clemson's at home, I like Clemson in a close game. I don't think it's going to be a blowout. I think it's going to be a tight one, but I think Clemson's going to pull it out. All right, so Reid, you got number 12 Missouri 7-1 going to face undefeated number 2 Georgia. Georgia's a 15.5-point favorite in this game. So who do you like in this one, Reid?
This one was like the number one game I was looking at because I was looking at games because I'm going up to Michigan State, Nebraska. My sister-in-law goes to Michigan State. She wanted us all to come to tail. I know, don't ask me about it. But when I was looking at the games, I was like, is there any good games on this weekend? And this was the hardest one that I had to pick. Now, we talked, I believe, last week or the week before. Missouri is kind of a sneaky team. However, they are going to play Georgia at home. I just don't know if they can pull it out. I wouldn't take the points by Georgia. I don't think Georgia's winning by 15, but I would have to take Georgia in the win. But I think it's going to be a closer game than people think. I think Missouri is going to keep it close. They're better than they're kind of given their credit. So I'll take Georgia, but I won't take the points.
I'm going to agree. This is going to be the best team Georgia's faced all year. We didn't think that coming into the season. This Missouri team's been very good this year. Their only loss is that home loss against a very good LSU team, and Jay Daniels is a Heisman contender. But I will take Missouri to cut with the points. Their offense is explosive. You got Brady Cook, Luther Burden, Theo Weiss, former Oklahoma receiver, Cody Schrader, running backs, who's been well. I think they'll be able to put some points up with Georgia, who hasn't been as dominant on defense. And this is a lot better team than that Florida team that played last week in Jacksonville. So give me Georgia to win, but Missouri to cover.
Yeah, I agree. I like Missouri to cover those 15.5 points. Yeah, Georgia's going to win, but this Missouri team, they're overachieving. I wouldn't expect them to be the 12th ranked team, 7-1 right now. They're a good squad. They're a good squad. So I think they can hang with Georgia, but I don't think they're going to go down there and be able to pull this one out. So, yeah, give me Georgia to win, but Missouri to cover. All right, we got a big one in the Pac-12. You got number 5 Washington at number 24 USC. Washington's a 3-point favorite in this one. Adrian, who do you like?
Even as bad as USC has looked, especially after that game last week in Cal, where Cal went for a 2 to win the game, USC wins 50-49. Give me USC in the upset. This Washington team has not looked great since they beat Oregon a few weeks back. They almost lost to Arizona State, struggled with Stanford. I just don't think they have the defensive power or the running ability to pull this one out. I think USC will find a way to get the upset and take some pressure and heat off Lincoln Riley and Caleb Williams.
Yeah, I mean, that game last week really kind of showed to me that it's all going to just be offensive shootouts, most likely for the rest of USC's games that they're going to play. So this one I think is definitely going to be a shootout. It's going to be a Heisman shootout for sure, too. Caleb Williams dropped recently, but Mike Penix is still up there. But all that being said, I still think Washington's going to end up winning this game. I think they're overall a better team. They have a slight edge defense. USC seems to have no defense. So they just have to – it's just going to be a shootout the whole game, but I still take Washington against USC on this one.
Yeah, I like USC in the upset as this one. USC in the upset as well on this one. I mean, that's why Washington's only a 3-point favorite in this game. It's not like they're a 10 or a 12 or nothing like that. I think the odds makers think this is going to be a tight, close shootout game. So I like USC in the upset. I like USC in the upset. But if Penix still puts up big numbers in this game and keeps it close, I think he would have an up on Caleb as far as the Heisman watch. But yeah, I like USC in the upset in this one. I like to see to cover those 3 points. All right, so next game here, Reid, you got number 4 Florida at Pittsburgh. Florida State is a 21.5-point favorite in this one, though. So does Florida State cover?
Yeah, I mean, I think they have to. Pitt's 2-4 or 2-5? What are they?
Yeah, I believe 2-5. I believe they have one win against the FBS school.
Yeah, so I mean, Florida State's covered the last 2 games they've played. So yeah,
I mean, gonna be a little cold outside in Pittsburgh, if that means anything.
Yeah, I mean, I think if it comes down to that, they'll just end up running the ball. They have two good running backs, Florida State. So I don't think Pittsburgh's going to be any worry about them. I'll take Florida State in the points.
Give me Florida State in the points. Jared Verse is finally getting some sacks going. He's getting home finally, even after getting pressures, and Trey Benson's finally toting the rock. So Florida State's going to pull away easily. This Pitt team is just not a good Pitt team this year.
Yeah, Pitt's pathetic. They're awful. They got blew out by Notre Dame last week. Florida State is one of the best teams in the country. This should be a statement game. They should cover the 21.5 points. I like.
By halftime.
I'm surprised it's only 21.5, to be honest with you. I thought it'd be like at least 25 to 27 with the points they've been putting up recently. I thought it would be a lot higher than that against a Pitt team. This Pitt team.
I'm gonna say it's probably because of the weather a little bit. Some of these Florida guys don't like that cold weather, but they'll adjust.
Yeah, I think they'll be okay.
Yeah, because Pittsburgh they play at the Steelers Stadium, right? Highfield?
Yep, sure do. Yeah.
So yeah, it might be cold, and who knows? It might rain, snow, who knows? So, all right, last game here, Adrian. You got Michigan. You got Purdue at number 2, Michigan at the Big House Saturday night. We already know Michigan has a bunch of controversy surrounding them right now. They're coming out their bye week. They're 32.5 point favorite in this one. So does Michigan cover?
Michigan does cover. I believe they will remain focused. Purdue's not a good football team. They have 2 wins on the season. They struggled. They got a new coach in Ryan Walters. I think JJ and company will get focused, and they will put Purdue away easily, just like Ohio. I believe Ohio State beat them 41-6, something like that. So give me a score somewhere 44-10, somewhere in that neighborhood. I know everybody's been talking about how distracted they are, but I actually think this is going to make the players, not the coaching staff, but the players stay focused and prove a point. Like Reid said, he feels bad for these players right now, and there's nothing to do with them, but they're gonna lock in, man, and do what they're supposed to do on the field.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, I know I texted you guys when I saw this on one of the football nights. I don't remember if it was Sunday night or Monday night. They were hyping this game up, and I thought it was. I mean, I get that it's Michigan and it's a Big Ten and it's a late game, right? It's like, I understand that they have to hype it up, but it's one of those games. It's funny to me where it's like, I don't get why you're hyping up Pittsburgh. Michigan's going to blow them out. So I don't think I don't think the players are distracted by this sign thing at all. I think they know that they have to win. They want to win a national championship. They're going to be ready to play as they are every week, no matter if they knew the calls or they don't know the calls. They're going to be ready to play. So I'll take Michigan. And what were the points? I didn't even
32.5 was it, Raaj?
Yeah, 32.5.
Yeah. I mean, I could see, like Adrian said, like a 44-10 game or 45-10 game.
Yeah. Michigan's rolling right now. Purdue's pathetic. Michigan's coming off their bye week. They're at home, night game. This is going to be a spanking. Michigan to cover all day for sure. All right, so let's switch it over to the NFL. So we seen Josh McDaniel get fired after 8 games in Vegas for the Raiders. They're coming off the bad Monday night loss. Jimmy G got benched. They're running with Aiden O'Connell, the Purdue guy. We just talking about Purdue. They're running with him this week. So Adrian, was this the right move or the wrong move to fire Josh McDaniels 8 games into the season?
It was absolutely the right move. Most of the players weren't happy with his philosophy, with his play calling style. They said it was old school. He didn't do a great job the first time in Denver. Why he gets another shot, I don't get it. Everybody's getting this Bill Belichick tree. It doesn't work. The magical formula during the New England Patriots dynasty run was one person only, and that was Tom Brady. He covered up a lot of things for that franchise. And as good as Bill Belichick was, Tom Brady deserves most of that credit. But with that being said, this Raiders organization is not a good organization. I believe they've had 5 head coaches since 2016. So they have some good players on the roster. You got Max Crosby, Devontae Adams, or Josh Jacobs. They got Jacoby Myers. I don't know what to do with this franchise, but I think he's the first coach to be fired this year. I think it was the right move. It was only a matter of timing. Now, what they will do coming forward, I don't know, because I think there's better job openings coming up in the NFL this year. Probably the Chargers, even the Chicago Bears with potentially 2 top 5 picks. Washington Commanders, just a couple to name, but it was the right move.
Yeah, I mean, like Adrian said, the Belichick tree does not have a good track record of being head coaches. And I saw a meme earlier today that said it's no wonder that these 4 guys, and it was Romeo Crennel, Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniel, and Matt Patricia, no wonder they all had coaching jobs. They had a guy named Tom Brady that was running the team. So I agree fully that it was this Belichick tree just shows it's never worked. It's always just been because they've had Tom Brady. Belichick's teams have also done well. These guys are just maybe these guys are just coordinators, they don't do well head coaching. Everybody always tries to bring the Patriot way into other locker rooms. As me and Raaj are, Lions fans know that it doesn't work. The Lions fans hate it, or Lions players hated Matt Patricia. So yeah, I think it's the right move. Again, like Adrian said, what to do with this organization, I don't know. You had the Gruden era where they had the 3 picks in the top 10, and none of those picks are on the roster anymore. So yeah, it'll be a job that somebody will want as a head coach, but I don't think it's the most desirable. I think the Chargers job is going to be more desirable. Like you said, the Bears with 2 picks will be more desirable. So Jonathan Gannon might not even make it through the year with Arizona. They might give him leeway because they didn't have Kyler most of the season, but yeah, I don't know who would take the Vegas Raiders job because there's an interim GM and an interim head coach. So,
and they fired the offensive coordinator too.
Yeah. So I don't. The interim coach, the last one before they hired McDaniels.
No, Rich Bisaccia.
Yeah, Bisaccia, but he was the interim coach and took him to the playoffs before they hired Josh McDaniels. So. Yep. Yeah, I don't know. This franchise is looking like a Lions-Browns situation where they're just in poverty. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Tom Brady will come in as a part-time owner and figure things out for them. I don't know.
Yeah. Or maybe they might interview Aaron Glenn or Ben Johnson or something. Who knows? Maybe those guys might get a look.
I think Ben Johnson would. I think the is the perfect opportunity for Johnson. Aaron Glenn, I can see going to the Raiders. I think he could bring like this whole culture, grit mentality, and try and bring it out to Las Vegas with Max Crosby there and everything. I think that work. I think it would work, but Ben Johnson, I think would fit better in like a Chargers style with a good quarterback and a solid offense already that around him with a solid O-line. Yeah.
So we'll see what the Raiders end up doing. It might even be hardball. Who knows? So
we'll last year.
Yeah, so we'll see. All right, so sticking with the NFL here, we see the trade deadline pass yesterday. So the Lions didn't make any defensive moves. They did bring in wide receiver Donovan Peoples-Jones from the Browns, which hey, I know a lot of people didn't like that move, but you did need to bring in another receiver. No Marvin Jones. Josh Reynolds real up and down. Don't even get me started on JMO. So that was a good addition, but obviously we'd have liked to see them add a defensive player. So Reid, where are you at with the Lions in the whole trade deadline situation?
I don't want to try and take too long because I know Adrian has to talk in on this, but that whole day I waited because they're doing it like the NBA now. You know how the NBA lasts up until the last 2-3 hours, and then all the moves start hitting, and everybody starts coming out, and there's always big trades. That's where the NFL has moved to. So me as a fan whose team should buy, they're in a good situation, potentially going to win a home playoff game, or have a home playoff game, maybe a first round bye. We don't know, but sitting and waiting all day for 2 o'clock to hit, 3 o'clock to hit, and nothing happens. And then Brad Holmes comes out onto the podium and says, we're making moves. And the 49ers just went out and paid a bag of chips for an edge rusher like Chase Young, who can be a high caliber talent. And if they don't keep him at the end of the season, they let him go. They don't pay a 3rd round pick. They get another pick. They get a 3rd round pick. So if you're just getting a guy for free who could potentially give you, a sack, 5 more sacks on the season, or free up Aiden, give him 5 more sacks on the season, I don't know why you wouldn't take it. It was a real headache to me. Obviously, there was teams that were rumored to be sellers, like the Vikings and the Panthers and all these other teams that weren't ended up being sellers with their defensive ends. They definitely need edge help, and I don't like when people I just had conversations with people and they said, look what they just did to the Raiders. Yet the Raiders have 5 pawns as offensive linemen. Their head coach is horrible, and Jimmy G is a stick figure in the back, can't move with a broken back. So blitz every play, and they got 5 sacks last game. So don't come at me with they don't need edge rushing help after that game. It wasn't a good offensive line. When you went up against the Ravens, you didn't have any any pressure, and Lamar got away from you. When you went up against Seattle and you had barely any pressure, Geno got away from you. Like, you needed to make some sort of move. They didn't. I'm happy with Donovan Peoples. He's home. It looks like maybe he'll fall into this grit situation. But like I said, everybody else, if they live by this grit thing, they're going to die by this culture grit thing. It's going to be the worst thing that happened to them. They, like I said to you guys, they should have went and got a corner, a lockdown corner. Sutton, if anybody else was throwing that ball to Devontae Adams on Monday night, he would have had 200 yards and 2 touchdowns because he was burning Sutton every play. They don't have a lockdown corner. I was so frustrated. I'm still heating up about it. So I'll leave it at that. Sorry.
No, as being a Lions fan, I can totally understand it. My Steelers were supposed to. We almost got Jalen Johnson from the Bears, but the Bears pulled out at the last minute. So that was kind of frustrating to put him with Joey Porter Jr. But that's besides the point. But anyways. As good as the Lions are, I think they're really, really good. I don't think they're elite, which is why I believe they're a tier below San Francisco and Philadelphia, who even if they don't feel like they need players, they just add the depth to just make your team better. You're one injury away from being thin at any position. They added Kevin Byard They added Julio Jones, who maybe makes some flash plays for the Eagles. Defensive line is loaded, like you said. San Francisco added. I think if you're the Lions, you don't get complacent with just being good. You go after being great, and you add that guy who can be on the other side of Aiden, helping Aiden be even better, and that you even get more out of him. I believe James Houston's good. He's solid. But you talked about Aaron Glenn. They got home with blitzing the Raiders. But the key is Aaron Glenn does not like to blitz. He had to blitz to get most of those sacks the other night. So this is not going to come up good when you go up against an elite quarterback later on the season, such as a playoff game as you get deeper into the postseason. I think ultimately this affects how far they can get. I believe if they would have added a Chase Young or Montez Sweat or Daniil Hunter, you're looking at an NFC Championship game appearance at least. Now you really have to play excellent to win these games. The offense is going to have to be even better. So I believe at this point they're hitching the wagon to Jared Goff and they're saying go get the job done, which is going to show me something. If he can do that, then he can prove to be the franchise QB. But I believe they didn't do him any favors. So.
I just think, before you go, Raj, I'll make it quick, but I just think that the craziest is that this game is, yes, they looked okay. Everybody's like, this was their best win of the season, which is crazy to me because you're playing a bad Vegas team that every other team is blown out by 20-plus points. And Jared Goff, other than Amon-Ra St. Brown, didn't look all that amazing passes to some of these guys. And he looked like a few times when he was under duress, he couldn't do anything. He threw the bad pick. Luckily, Jahmyr Gibbs ran it for he totaled 180 yards or whatever, running and catching. So it's like you're not going to always have this against a solid team in the playoffs. If you're going against Eagles or 49ers, you're not going to be able to run the ball like that against a defensive line like they have, or you're not going to be able to have time to pass the ball, pass rusher in your face, and Chase Young or Nick Bosa. So those are the things that annoyed me. And you can't rely on James Houston coming back and hoping that he's going to flash and have 8 sacks in 5 games like he did when he was a rookie, or C.J. Gardner-Johnson coming back and being fully. So that's just where I'm at.
Yeah. I mean, Chase Young, San Fran, Leonard Williams to Seattle. Those are all good moves. Byard to Philly. I know a lot of people wanted the Lions to get Sweat or Chase Young, which I wanted to see as well myself, but the Commanders' GM is Martin Mayhew. The Lions fired him. So I don't think he was going to look out and do the Lions any favor. You guys fired me. I'm not going to throw you guys any alley. I think that had a role to play in this. I don't know that for a fact, but I'm just assuming it. If that team fired me, I'm not going to throw them any alleys. I think that played a factor in it. And I think the Lions, they're going to just trust in their guys. They're going to trust in James Houston coming back. Pascal was a second-round pick. He hasn't really done much, but I know he's been out with injuries, but they're counting on him, the Okwara brothers, Onzarike. They got a lot of guys. They just got a lot of guys. I guess they figure somebody's going to step up and separate themselves. I guess they're just they're betting on themselves in this one. So we're going to see if it pays off or if it doesn't.
The thing about Pascal is they drafted him. He's played like a total of, I don't know, probably like 20 snaps his whole career. He hasn't been healthy. He just came back off of IR, and then he got hurt again. And it's like, I don't know how everybody keeps saying wait until Pascal gets healthy. I don't know when he get healthy because he'll come to a game, and then he's out of the game 2 snaps later because he's hurt. So I don't know what's going on with him. Levi, I don't know what's going on with him. I guess they're hoping Broderick Martin's going to become something. I haven't seen him all season. I don't know what's going on with this team, with what they think. That's probably not any of my business because I'm not a GM, nor am I on the coaching staff or smart enough to be on it. But I just want to see something that's not going to disappoint me, and maybe Broderick Martin's going to end up being the next great next Leonard Williams. I don't know. Maybe he's going to be Leonard Williams. He'll come out and be beast, but they draft him in such high hopes, and he hasn't done anything. He's been hurt all season. So Brad Holmes, his drafts have been either I get a superstar like St. Brown or some of these later round guys, or I get in player. That seems to be his MO.
Yeah, you could even real quick before we get off this topic, they could have even inquired about Josh Uche, the defensive end from New England Patriots. He was rumored to be on the trade market. They could have got him for something. I mean, he just something to give you another guy give you 6-7 sacks just to help aid now. Just like I said, have depth because 49ers got it. Even the Seahawks, they lost Chenan Owusu and added Leonard Williams and they added Frank Clark back. So it's just to give you some depth. It just shows you these elite teams in the NFC have pass rush. And if the Lions run into one of these teams, it's not going to be easy. They're not making it any easier on themselves.
I think if San Fran ends up winning the NFC West and the Lions win the North and end up having to host a playoff game, I think they might end up getting Seattle again, man. I think Seattle might end up being a wild card.
That is not
I think it's gonna happen, man. I think San Fran's gonna win the West and Seattle will be the wild card and end up having to come in the Ford Field again, man. That'd be crazy.
That's my fear. That has been my fear.
Yeah, and we all know how well Geno Smith plays at Ford Field, so that'd be something right there. That'll really be something. All right, shout out Ack in the building. Ack says, "Dang, what else is wrong with the Raiders?"
Mark Davis's haircut.
Yeah, everything is wrong with the Raiders. What isn't wrong? I mean, I guess the only good thing they're in Vegas, but other than that, yes, complete dumpster fire. All right, well let's switch over to the NBA here. So we did see James Harden finally did get traded. He got traded to the Los Angeles Clippers. So Adrian, with this trade to the Clippers, what do you think is the Clippers ceiling at this point now that they added James Harden?
Conference Finals. If they do everything they're supposed to do. I'm the biggest Paul George fan, so seeing this trade go down to yesterday morning, I was not the happiest guy. I'm gonna make it real short and simple, and I'll pass off to you guys, and I'm gonna be done with it because I'm just gonna get mad. But normally I'm not this passionate about things. But with that being said, James Harden is on his 4th team in his NBA career, or not his 4th team. I'm sorry, his 15. But he's quit on 4 teams. Only team he didn't quit on was OKC, and then he continues to get what he wants. Teams let him get away with it, and they trade him. He signed a player option, and then immediately requested a trade and had no leverage. But Philly said we're tired of this. Mainly, I think because Tyrese Maxey showed he can be a superstar in this league. Been balling to start the season, but they're not going to do anything. I just think James Harden gets in the way of the chemistry between Russell Westbrook, PG, and Kawhi and Terrence Mann. I don't see anything major happening. I think James Harden's done. He's washed.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I've been saying the same thing for a long time that James Harden has been washed. Him requesting a trade is what is it? When you repeat something over and over again, expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. That's James Harden. He'll go to a team with a superstar, expecting to get the KD treatment, hoping to win a championship. He doesn't end up winning a championship. He requests a trade because he doesn't like that team, and then he goes and does the same thing over and over again. That being said, this might be – granted, I called it the old folks home because it kind of is, other than Zubac being the younger guy at center. But, I mean, PG, they're all in their early to mid-30s. Kawhi is one of my favorite players, but as we know, him and Kyrie are best the rest Kings. They like resting. Maybe with this new NBA rule, they won't. But yeah, maybe conference finals would be the ceiling. But it all depends on the health of these guys. I don't know what more James Harden's going to bring you that like Russell Westbrook doesn't bring you. Like they're kind of the same player at this point. They both average roughly like 15 points a game, maybe, and probably 8.5 to 10 assists a game. Westbrook probably more rebounds, but they're generally the same player at this point. Harden's not scoring 40 points a game anymore. Westbrook's not getting triple doubles every game anymore. So it's tough. I don't know. Did they make the trade hoping that it's going to be something cool? The video of him walking in the locker room and Russell Westbrook walking up to him did not look promising. I mean, I know they might have been doing it as a joke, but they did not look like a good video. I don't know. I don't have high hopes for the Clippers. I think a lot of people looked at it as he's still a superstar. I don't think he's still a superstar.
No.
When was his last All-Star appearance?
I think it was 2021. Let me see.
It's been a couple of years, 2-3 years?
Yeah. If they all can stay healthy, though, they'll be able to make some noise in the West. I mean, I still think Denver's the team to beat, but if they can stay healthy, I think they got enough depth, a decent starting five to make some noise for sure.
Yeah, his last 21-22 season was his last All-Star appearance.
Okay. I think the thing about it is it's going to end up being like the Suns, where if they don't stay healthy, it's going to come down to them not having depth on the bench. They don't have enough depth to help them get through a season. Like, Milwaukee has always had depth when they won. Denver has depth. Who's the other team that I'm thinking of right now that I'm blanking on? It just, a lot of teams need depth to come out and win for the most part. You can't have, your guys like those four guys, KD and Devin Booker, were playing like 45, like every game we're playing damn near 45 minutes a game. Those guys aren't going to be playing that much a game, so it's like they don't have the backup to get them far enough, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
How are the Pens down up one?
Shout out my brother Jaleel Building, who lives in Philly, big Philly fan, says, I wish this couldn't go on better here with Harden, but we don't want anyone who doesn't want to stay.
Is Jaleel still trusting the process? I need to ask.
I mean, Harden cried his way out of a good situation, though. I think Philly could have made some noise in the East this year. Him and Embiid and Maxey and Tobias and those. Well, I think they could have made some noise in the East. So
I think the only problem is I was talking with my buddy about it earlier. I think Embiid's going to be gone here soon.
Maybe not. They're trying to position themselves to get some cap space. They have a max slot available for next year. And Maxey keeps playing the way he's playing. I've heard maybe a Donovan Mitchell or a Zach LaVine. So, I mean, I think there's still room for Embiid to stay. I actually do like this position. It gets the toxicity out of the room in Philly. And James Harden just continues to, like I said, he's going to show you who he is again and again. He gets upset. I read something earlier where he said he's never going to talk to Daryl Morey ever again. It's like, I mean, come on, man. At this point, I just think at this point he wanted to go to LA because he likes the lifestyle. He's from there. So I think at this point, it just cares more about stuff that's not basketball related. He just wants to be there because it looks cool. But like I said, he's never gonna win a championship.
You said never?
No.
So yeah, the Clippers and Lakers tonight. So should be a good one tonight. Appreciate you, Jaleel. He says great show, guys. 100.
Appreciate it, Jaleel.
Thank you.
We already said that. Real funny, Reid. Okay. All right. So Reid, the Pistons are currently 2-2. They're playing Portland down at the LCA tonight. So where are you at with this Pistons team, Reid? What have you seen so far from this team?
At the beginning of the season, I thought that obviously they picked us in the situation because they were in the situation that they're in. This kid surprised me very much so. A lot of these G League and they were overtime elite. They weren't even G League. I didn't think they were going to come in and do anything crazy. He's leading all rookies with even that Stilt man in San Antonio. He's leading all rookies in rebounds at averaging 10.5 rebounds a game right now, averaging 8 points. 2 2 blocks, I believe, a game. So he's doing really well. He's got 14 points tonight. Cade is looking really good. Cade has 26 right now. He's 26, 24 and 3 tonight. So I mean, he's obviously looking good. The center position, Duran is looking good. Outside, unfortunately. And then a guy that I wanted the Pistons to draft that they're playing against tonight, Shaden Sharp. He's looking good too. He's got almost 20 right now. So he took over after the what's his name?
Anthony Simmons.
Yeah, Anthony Simmons got hurt. Yeah. After he got hurt, so he's showing he's like a star. Scoot isn't looking like somewhat of a star, but this Pistons team is exciting me, and they're young. They play hard for Monty. I wish Duran was inside. I think the game would be a lot different. But yeah, I mean, they're looking good. I still am liking over on the wins, to be honest with you. The way that they've been playing. OKC is a good young team. They played hard against them, but other than that, yeah, I still like them over on the wins. I still think they could win 25 plus games this year. 25 to 30.
I'm in agreement with you, Reid. 2-2. They're up 6 right now with under 9 minutes left in the fourth right now. Looking good. K's playing well. Sawyer has 14 points. Just showing you well. My concern with this team, I have 2 concerns. One, and I tell Reid this every time, and I tell you, Raaj, why is Killian Hayes starting over Jaden Ivey? One of these reporters, they need to find this video and they need to give us the answers we need to know. He should not be starting over Jaden Ivey. He brings nothing. He doesn't bring anything offensively, doesn't bring anything defensively. I hope he gets traded at the trade deadline for a guard who can give you some offensive firepower, because this 4-guard rotation isn't going to work. I know Marcus Astor's a rookie. Play him. I know at least he was a good shooter in college.
Before you continue, Adrian, let me tell you right now what the stat line is. Killian Hayes has played 23 minutes. He has 0 points, 1 assist, 3 rebounds. Jaden Ivey's played 20 minutes. He has 10 points, 2 rebounds, and 2 assists. Astor has 8 points, 6 assists, 2 rebounds. So you tell me why Cade is starting.
I don't know. Does Monty Williams have something on Jaden Ivey that we're not knowing about? Tell me something, because I need to know, because I can't do this all season. I'm going to lose my mind. But with that being said, if the Pistons can just maintain to just play 500 basketball through the season, I think they can find a way to somehow at least get into this playing game. And I just loved the way Jalen Duran's playing. He's only gotten better as the season's going on to start the season. The motor is extremely high. He plays so hard. But we need to find a way to get some value for Beef Stew. We need to find a way to get some value for Killian Hayes. We need to add some more shooting from this team, because it's not looking good right now shooting the ball. Besides Cade.
I think he's starting Killian right now. I think the Pistons are going to be very active at the trade deadline. And I think if you start Killian and he's playing well, his numbers are up, he's a starting guard in this league, I think you're trying to boost his value for a trade, maybe. Because I expect him, Bagley, Bogdanovich, Wiseman. I think a lot of these guys will be on the trading block come the trade deadline. So maybe they're beefing his value up for a trade. I don't know. I think that's what it is. But yeah, me personally, I don't think he should be starting. And as far as Asor's been playing very well, but I don't know if he's still going to be starting or not when Bogey comes back. I think you might insert Bogey back in the starting lineup. And Sasser has been good as well as a rookie point guard, but I kind of feel as though once Montre Morris comes back, I don't know how many more minutes Sasser is going to be getting as well. So I think the Pistons, when Bogey and Montre Morris come back, we got to see if the starting 5 change and what the dynamic of the change is going to be. So those are 2 things to look out for the Pistons as well.
I think if it came down to anything, they would stop playing Killian or Jaden at the 2, and they would put Asar at the 2, and then put Bogey at the 3, Beef Stew at the 4, and Duran at the 5. I think that would be the end of. I think what Asar brings on defense, Monty likes too much to take him out of the starting lineup.
I think what's going to happen, honestly, in my opinion, guys, real quick before we get off this, I just think when Bogey comes back, I think he'll be their 6th man, because he adds that shooting ability that the Pistons don't have. So you give them some points, some guaranteed points on the second unit.
That's kind of what Joe Harris has been doing tonight.
Yeah. Oh, I missed on the NFL topic. We forgot to get Adrian's top 5 teams in there.
We did.
Yeah, let's slide that in there. Adrian's top 5.
I got too hot about the Lions, and we forgot to talk about it.
All right, before we get out of here, guys. Last thing we're gonna do is my top 5, my power rankings. This might have been the hardest one for me to do. Going to the season, there's been a lot of teams on losing streaks, a lot of teams catching fire right now. But let's get it. I know Reid's not gonna agree with this, but which is why I love to do this. All right, let's get it.
You never know.
We got a new number 1, the Philadelphia Eagles, 7-1. They got a big game this weekend, afternoon game against the Dallas Cowboys, which I will believe they will win this game. Number 2, I have moved them all the way up to number 2, and that is the Baltimore Ravens at 6-2. This team is on a tear right now. Lamar Jackson is playing phenomenal football. This defense is top 2 in the league. At number 3, they want to put them there, but I believe they've got some moves to make, and that is the San Francisco 49ers. I know they lost 3. Mark Purdy hasn't looked great, but they've had some injuries with Deebo Samuel. Chris McCaffrey's carrying the load, but they'll get some of these guys back. They just traded for Chase Young. They're still as dangerous as ever, and I believe they're just on a little slump right now. At number 4, Miami Dolphins, 6-2. Tyreek Hill continues to be a menace. He's already over 1,000 yards receiving. Jalen Waddle is something we dealt with. Mostert. They can't be stopped. They get Achane back soon. I just believe Mike McDaniel's doing a great job in Miami. And at number 5, I moved them down. I know they lost to a bad Denver team, but give me the Kansas City Chiefs and Patrick Mahomes. And then right outside my top 5, we have the Detroit Lions at 6-2, and at 7 we have the Jacksonville Jaguars at 6-2.
So you think the Jaguars are better than the Bills and the Seahawks?
I do.
Okay. I don't mind the top 5. The only one I would obviously switch out is the Ravens. You know my disdain for the Ravens. I don't think they're that great even against a bad Arizona team. I know they put up a lot of points on them. It was all rushing. Lamar only threw for 157 yards and 1 touchdown. And only before that, I mean, he played a great game against Detroit, but even before that, he's gone 2-3-1 against Tennessee, 236-0 and 1 interception against your Steelers, and then 186-2 against Cleveland. So I still don't trust Lamar as a passing quarterback. I would put him in the top 5, but I'd put him 5. But still, I would slide Miami ahead of him. I still think the Chiefs would probably beat them in like an AFC Championship game if that goes that way. I don't know. There's just something about the Ravens team and Lamar that I don't trust. Granted, he beat up on my Lions. That doesn't look good either, but he came out and I don't think he looked great against Arizona. So top 5 is fine. Eagles deserve to be at 1. Have best record in the NFL. You have to put them there. But yeah, I think it's a fine list. I just put the Ravens at 5 and move everybody else up because they haven't played good football. Just don't trust Lamar.
Yeah. I think the team to watch out for is Jacksonville. They're on a 5-game losing streak after starting 1-2. So
I will say the only thing I think the Dolphins have their biggest test coming up. I think what they said their last 5 wins were against teams that were under 500. So that is something to consider about them. I do think they look good. They had Jalen Ramsey come back, so that's a positive. So they're going to be their big test this week because they play the Chiefs, right?
Yep, they play the Chiefs in Germany actually. So that's a 9:30.
Two good games, and the Chiefs and the Eagles Dallas.
Yeah,
the 2 good games this weekend.
And then we have Buffalo and Cincinnati on Sunday night.
Yeah, that too. So I didn't hate your list. I mean, I don't think the Lions should be in the top 5 right now. The way that they've kind of been playing the last 2 weeks hasn't been great. So I'm just not a big Ravens truther.
Yeah. Well, you guys know my Super Bowl pick was before the season started. I picked the Ravens to win it all. So, all right, let's get to some of the feedback here. It says the 49ers are fading some.
Oh, a little bit.
Ish also
I think it's Brock Purdy that's hitting their slump. That they're 0-3. He hasn't looked great either. Going on quarterback don't look good.
Yeah, it said the Eagles will hit a slump late season. All right. DC said good list. He liked the list. Adrian.
Appreciate it, DC.
Ish also says the Bills are not special and are beatable. Okay. Let's see. We got Act Big San Fran fan. He says San Fran is struggling with schemes. We'll get it together. Lions are stronger than us right now. You guys think the Lions are better than San Fran right now?
No.
Maybe with all the injuries that San Fran has, but other than that, no. I think if they played each other tomorrow, I think it'd be a very good game because I think the Lions could scheme around playing against Brock Purdy. But yeah, I don't think they beat 49ers right now.
Yeah, the Niners are trending down, but I still think they're a better team than the Lions for sure. I like Dan Campbell as a coach for sure, but I think Kyle Shanahan's a better play caller and a little better coach. He's a little better coach. Let's see. DC says, yes, San Fran can't stay healthy.
Lions can't either.
Yeah. The Lions are in good shape though when a lot of their guys come back. Pascal, CJ Gardner-Johnson, Houston. So they'll be a little better on defense when those guys come back. Not saying that those guys are big difference makers, but they'll help. They'll help.
Absolutely. Hey, fellas, I'm going to read you the Phillies' next 6 games. This is insane. So you have this week, they have Cowboys at home. The week after that, Monday Night Football, they go to Kansas City. The week after that, they host Buffalo. The week after that, they host San Francisco. And then the week after that, they go to the Cowboys. And then they close it out with going to Seattle. Sheesh.
Man, that's a gauntlet right there. If they're really the best in the NFL and the NFC, we're going to find out.
Seattle has a pretty tough one too. Let me read this one off to you really quickly. It's at Ravens Sunday, and then the Sunday after that, it's Commanders, who've been playing okay. Then the Rams, 49ers, Cowboys, 49ers, Eagles, Titans, Steelers. So that's not an easy one either.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see who ends up with that number 1 seed in the NFC. It's going to be an interesting stretch run.
They said the Lions have the easiest schedule from here on out. Easiest strength of schedule.
This bye week is important. I expect a lot of guys to be back when they travel to Los Angeles. I expect my boy Montgomery to be back as well. You give him about 3-4 weeks off. Be back, probably maybe Pascal, but I think they'll be ready to go for the home stretch. Perfect time to have your bye week too.
Yeah, and they got blessed by Kirk being hurt. Not that I wish an injury on him, but now that Kirk's out of Minnesota, they got the division now. They got it. They got it at this point. All right, let's get to the rest of this feedback here. Axe says the loss of Debo is causing unreasonable amount of harm, considering the untapped talent we have on the bench. Shanahan drafts great and then sits the talent on the bench.
Yeah, I don't know why they can't figure out what to do when Debo's gone. I mean, he just put McCaffrey in the same plays, and you'll be fine. And then throw it to I don't know. Sorry, I'm making all these faces over here because I'm just watching Killian Hayes get absolutely slaughtered on a court.
Of course.
Oh, you good? All right, let's see. It says, can we stop with all the Brock Purdy praise? He's not good, and it's starting to show now.
Ish, I wasn't praising him. I never
neither.
have.
Me
I
neither.
just said if I think the Lions would be able to beat San Francisco right now if they just schemed against Brock Purdy. He showed you what he was when he threw the 2 picks or whatever it was 2 weeks ago.
Yep. Axe says Purdy is excellent overall and isn't a question for the Niner Nation. Okay, so Axe believes in this guy. San Francisco's team. He's running with them, and he believes in Purdy. So, all right, last one here. Jaleel says, I'm worried about my Birds Sunday, guys, only because Hurts is hobbled. That knee may be an issue.
Honestly, I don't think it's as serious as they're making it out to be. Dallas is overrated per usual. Dak that never performs in a big primetime game. You guys are at home, so I believe you will be winning. Who's stopping AJ Brown? He's on a tear right now.
What happened to K? Did he just get poked in the eye? What happened?
All right, so let's close it out with our Thursday night predictions. You got Tennessee at Pittsburgh. Adrian, your Pittsburgh Steelers 2.5-point favorite. Who you like in that one?
Well, considering Will Levis is starting, Cam Hayward actually got activated to the active roster, so he might be playing tomorrow. Finally, that's a big pickup for this defensive line. I don't see Will Levis being ready on a short week coming into Pittsburgh and winning. I think the Steelers will find a way to win an ugly one. I know we scored 10 points Sunday. The defense wasn't defense problem. Kenny will be playing. I believe my Steelers will win and cover 23-17.
Okay.
I love Joey Porter Jr. from what I watched last week. He looked so good, and he was the guy that I wanted the Lions taking the second round, but he was gone by that point. That being said, Tana Thrill is obviously hurting out, but there's a new Thrill in town, and his name's Thrill Levis, and he just threw for 3 touchdowns, and he's going to put that mayonnaise in his coffee, and he's going to go out there, and he's going to win. I think the Titans will end up winning this. I think they have a new fire lit underneath them with the way Will Levis did play. I think he kind of got his bearings down. I do think it's going to be a shootout, but I think it's going to be 17-20. 2017.
You said you like the Steelers, right?
No, I'm taking the Titans.
Oh, you're running with Levis. Okay.
Yeah, I'm running with Will the Thrill.
Will the Thrill. Okay. Not buying them. Levis. Okay. Yeah, I like I like the Steelers in this one. I know Kenny Pickett's a little banged up right now. Will Levis on a short week, he lit it up. He looked good in that game against Atlanta, but short week going outside to Pittsburgh. Gonna be outside. It's gonna be cold. I think Pittsburgh's coming off that loss to Jacksonville. I like Pittsburgh in this game. I like Pittsburgh in this one.
Raj, you keep saying it's going to be cold, man. I just looked. It's going to be like 60 degrees in Pittsburgh this weekend.
Oh, really? Oh, okay. Well,
it's 53 at noon on Saturday, and it's going to get up to 60.
Okay, so the weather isn't going to play a factor.
I mean, that can all change. That's a while out. The weather can change definitely.
Yeah. So last question here. So Reid, who would you rather have, Brock Purdy or Ryan Tannehill?
I'd probably San Francisco, or just on my team in general.
Yeah, just in general.
I'd still probably take Brock Purdy.
Okay.
Because even Tannehill showed you before he got hurt, he wasn't doing anything.
Okay. All right, cool. All right, well, yeah, there it is. All right, anything else you guys want to add before you get up out of here?
No, great show. Go Steelers. Let's get the W tomorrow. And Pistons.
I hope they do win for you, Adrian.
Let's finish this victory out. Come on, Pistons. Go get this win tonight, man. Must win.
Yeah, that's what I need to see. Yeah, all right, boys. Good show.
Good show, boys.
All right, good show. All right, sports update. We'll see you guys next Tuesday at 8 p.m. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe.
Peace.
Peace.